Music has many punctuation marks in whatever form it is, either in staff notation or in Solfa notation. So, let us have a look at some of the major punctuation marks in music with special preference to Solfa notation, which is the trend of our discussion. There are 5 symbols that are drawn there. You have the colon, which represents full beat. You have the full stop, which represents half beat. You have the comma for quarter beat. You have the dash, the extension of a beat. And then you have the slur, which signifies that a music should be played or sung smoothly. Let's put them into use one by one to show how we can actually use these symbols in Solfa notation. We start with the colon, which we use for the full beat. Now, the colon is used to mark out or divide measures into full equal beats. You know what measures are? Those vertical lines that go through your Solfa notation. They are known as measures. Just have a look and see how it looks like in the figure 1. You see the vertical lines dividing the music into equal measures. The beats are signified by the numbers 1, 2, 1, 2 you see there. So, as a rule, each beat immediately after the measure line, the bar line, is a strong beat. The one following it is a weaker beat, especially in 2/4. We are treating 2/4 now. That's why you have the theme, the first theme in thick bold, the second one in light bold. See as it's progressing. That is exactly how movement of music runs in the staff. Now you need to note very, very well that it is not the number of notes that counts the beats. We don't use the notes to determine how many number of beats we have in a bar. What we use to determine it is the colon, which signifies the full beat sign. It divides a bar into equal beats. So whenever you are singing, you need to watch out for the colon beat as your guide. Let's replace all these stars, the red stars, with notes to really make it look human. So we go to figure 2. In this figure 2, we have do, mi, re, fa, mi, do. You see how the thing is playing, how it is going. The 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 is how we count the beats. Beat 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The beating, the rhythm must be constant, must be the same. You don't need to count something like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It must be consistent. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So in this case, we are having do, mi, re, fa, mi, do. Now look at Mr. Frog. When you see the frog, watch when the frog leaps. It doesn't leap, when it is limping, it doesn't move faster than the distance it started with. It maintains it, bam, bam, bam. Unless something is pursuing it or it is pursuing something, before the jumping will be more, maybe the first jumping or second jumping will be longer than the first. The same thing, I want you to have the same idea in Solfa notation. You don't run faster than you started unless the music stated that with what we call dynamics. Either go faster, go fast, or go slower. All those things. Now, see how the toad jumps. Tim, bam, bam, bam. It jumps like that. That is what I want us to emulate and use in Solfa. It's going to help us a great deal. Let me introduce another slide for you to see how Mr. Frog will jump in a continuous manner. Just have a look at this slide. You see the bars, the measures, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to measure 15. So we are going to allow Mr. Frog to jump on these oranges for you to see the distance it maintains. So let's have a look. You see what you're talking about? The objective of this animation is for you to note that while singing Solfa, music in general, the tempo you started with should be consistent. Must be consistent. If not, you are not doing the right thing. Look at it again. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then take note of what is going to happen at bar 8. The second beat. You will not hear any sound. You got it? So Mr. Frog reaching at that point did not crow. And also take note of bar 15 that has a double bar line. It has reached there, it has stopped. Generally in music, a double bar line, double bar means you have reached the end of the music or end of a phrase, say maybe verse 1 or a part of the music, you have reached the end. That is why Mr. Frog reaching at that bar 15, it's rested. Now another thing is, see what happened in bar 8, the second beat. When it reached that place, it didn't crow. Meaning, when you are moving in Solfa, in music, and see an empty space, it means rest. At that point, you don't need to sing anything at all. But you must count the movement. It must be counted as you progress. That's what we see in bar 8. And then the 15th bar, we have it also, a rest, and then double bar rest, which means the end of a session or the music. Starting at the first bar, let's go. Do, mi, re, fa, mi, so, fa, la, sol, ti, la, do, ti, re, do, la, ti, so, la, fa, so, mi, fa, re, mi, re, do. Look at the combination of extension. Extension, like we said, is a major part in the punctuations of Solfa notation, and it simply means you extend the notes before it to the extension, meaning carry over whatever is before the extension to the extension. Let's just use this animation. Look at what Mr. Frog is going to do. How when he jumps at any orange before the extension, it will carry it over to the extension. Let's see what happens. Watch. You see this? Carry over. Look again. You take over the property from one to the other. And here, no sound. No sound. So you notice that it carries the property of the orange, the beat before it to the extension. That is what we need to do when we encounter such a thing in Solfa notation. Now let's put some notes to make it real. So let's try to sing. Do, do, mi, re, fa, mi, re, do, mi, so, fa, re, mi, fa, mi, re. got it? Remember, at bar 8, after the fa, we not say anything, we observe the rest. And also, we observe it at the other bar, where we have the 2 rests. We didn't sing anything, but the movement continued. You don't need to maybe sing fa, mi, re. Now you waste time and linger about. No. You must be consistent. The trick is you need to be consistent. In 3/4, it will be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that is how it goes. It's just as simple as that. Now see what Mr. Frog is going to do. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And so on and so forth. If you meet the rest, there will be rest, nothing is head. If you meet extension, you still extend. Simple trick. When you are constant and consistent, you see that there is nothing much about Solfa notation whereby that you cannot meet up with. We have added some notes to it. Now let's think. Remember, here we are combining the colon, the extension, and also the rest. Now let's go. Do, mi, re, do, re, fa, mi, so, fa, mi, fa, la, so, fa, la, ti, do. You got it. That is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. The same thing, the beats immediately after the bar is the strongest.